Welcome to Uncaged, a show that celebrates thought leadership from today's top business leaders. The program provides a voice to amazing executives from around the globe who are shaping the world of business today and mapping the path to the commerce of tomorrow. Today, we're speaking with Jerome Grant. Hey, Jerome, how are you?
Great. How are you? Thanks for having me.
I'm great. I'm excited to talk to you about what you're working on. Jerome is the Chief Executive Officer for the Universal Technical Institute. He's working on some big stuff, really important educational areas and growing it. His plan is to become the leading provider of technical training for students entering careers in automotive, diesel, collision repair, motorcycle, marine, and much, much more based on our conversation before the show started. Jerome, I'm excited to chat with you. Tell me a little bit about yourself and your career.
Thanks, Matt. Well, I've been in and around higher education my entire career, 35 plus years. I started my career with Pearson Education, largest education company in the world, in sales, product management, sales management. I was president of their global business and technology division, and then transitioned over to a role whereby my job was to help Pearson come together as a single digital platform. Exciting times, an exciting endeavor at Pearson. Spent a little time at McGraw-Hill helping them move into the educational services space, and then this opportunity arose in such a great market from a great institute in 2017. Joined Universal Technical Institute as Chief Operating Officer and became CEO in the fall of 2019.
Wow. Well, you've really gone through the whole spectrum of the pandemic, joining Universal Technical Institute before and through. We'll come back to that in a little bit, but sure. Tell me more about what you're working on at the Universal Technical Institute.
Yeah, that's great. As you said in your preamble, for 56 years, Universal Technical Institute has been the nation's single largest provider of trained technicians in auto, diesel, motorcycle, marine, more recently welding. Over the past couple of years, we've moved to diversify that portfolio of training opportunities because the demand for middle skills is just so high. A couple of years ago, or last year, we purchased MIAT College of Technology, and they focus in airline, HVAC, robotics, wind energy, as well as welding. And so that added 2 locations, one in Canton, Michigan, and another in Houston, Texas. But more importantly, gave us more opportunities on the UTI campuses for students to be trained in industry-aligned high demand careers. Additionally, earlier this year, we announced the acquisition of Concord Career Colleges, which is a group of 16 schools around the country focused in the medical areas, med tech, dental tech, and a host of other areas around another high demand skills area of healthcare.
Wow. I mean, what an incredible collection and what expansive growth. I mean, tell me a little bit more about Universal Technical Institute in the sense of, where you guys are. It sounds like you're everywhere.
Well, we are. I mean, we've the Universal Technical Institute side of the aisle, which is focused in transportation, skilled trades, and energy, of 16 campuses, 9 states around the country. Over 16,000 students are walking through our buildings. Concord has another 16 campuses around the country, servicing 8,000 or 9,000 students. So as we come together, in addition to our online programs in healthcare, we'll have 32 locations and nearly 25,000 students that we're helping find industry-aligned jobs. Proud of that. Still a lot of work to do,
Yeah, that's impressive. That is an impressive number of students and certainly needed. I mean, before the program, we talked a little bit, but these jobs that are, I don't know what you want to call them, kind of mid-skill, or you used a great phrase before. It seems like there's such a tremendous demand in the marketplace right now Tell me more about where we find the world today of work, and why is there such a dearth of people that are skilled in these things?
Yeah, and again, yeah, the middle skills area, and again, you've got unskilled labor, people who come out of high school, go right to work at In-N-Out Burger or one of the retail establishments, warehousing, et cetera. You've got higher education, which I think you and I are both very familiar with, onto a four-year education and out into the business world or a number of other vocations. And then this middle skills area. It's a very large area in the United States with extremely high opportunity for people, where you may, as opposed to going to a higher education institute, you may opt for a certificate in auto or diesel tech, as an auto and diesel technician, or a plumber, or an electrician, or an HVAC repair person. The demand in these areas dramatically outstrips the supply.
Wow.
And somewhere in the neighborhood of 9 months to a year and a half, you're certified and you have the opportunity to compete for those jobs. Healthcare is that on steroids, where the need for healthcare workers, as you've been reading through every bit of press in the United States, far outstrips the supply and is projected to do so for the next decade. So we're working to try to address that as aggressively as we can.
I mean, absolutely needed. And based on the price I paid for a recent HVAC visit, these jobs and these workers are doing extremely well. So, I mean, Jerome, one of the interesting things I think is that you joined Universal Technical Institute right before the pandemic, November 2019, probably looking into 2020, thinking it was going to be an incredible growth year, so fun, so easy, right? And then suddenly we get hit by this pandemic. Tell me about your journey through that time.
Sure, absolutely. Well, I actually did join in 2017 as chief operating officer, but became CEO in 2019. You're absolutely right. We were having an amazing year, bringing a lot of students in to train them for high-paying jobs, and then the pandemic in March of 2020 came and slammed the whole thing down. Right? Many people in this space actually just closed for a while. 2, 3, 4 months, because as you would expect, much of what we do is very hands-on. We quickly pivoted to a hybrid model where about half of our curriculum, which was handled in a classroom, moved online so that we could keep our students moving forward through 2020 and 2021. We then brought them, in social distancing space environments back to do their hands-on work. And I think it's important that we keep moving forward. And the reason is that during the pandemic, restaurants closed down and retail closed down and everybody was buying online. But the car dealerships, service centers didn't close down, and nor did fleet service. The trucks had to stay on the road, and ambulances needed to stay on the road. And so the demand continued. And so we needed to find a creative way to continue to service our students. And we did so through taking what we could online and then working in a measured way to bring them into our facilities to finish their lab work. Proud of all that work. It actually has helped us redefine our curriculum moving forward, which is going to help be more flexible for students as we move forward.
So it's such a needed space, and these roles are so valuable in society today. When you go out and talk to prospective students on this proposition, what excites them? What pulls them in? What gets them?
That's great. Well, so in transportation, trades, and energy, the Universal Technical Institute side, about half of our students come right out of high school. And that body of students are students who likely weren't going to go on to college. They were going to go out and work in a warehouse or work construction or some area in an unskilled labor. And so I think what excites them about connecting with an institute like Universal Technical Institute is the fact that in a very short period of time, without all the debt of a four-year college degree, they can be out working in a job that's in high demand and really, really good pay. And so what we do is spend a lot of time in the high schools enlightening students to what in front of them if they take just a little more time and go after training like this. I think in the healthcare space, people are really drawn to helping other people, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's not what's happening in transportation, trades, and energy, but in the healthcare space, the folks that are attracted to healthcare are really trying to do good and do well for their families. And so that's an older population. And by older, I mean 25 to 35-year-olds that tend to move into healthcare. And usually they gravitate towards it over time because of that yearning to really do great things.
That's great. Now, I mean, Jerome, we find ourselves in another moment with lots of change in our broader world. As you look forward into 2023, what's on the horizon? What is exciting for you guys, and what are the challenges that you see?
Well, with these first two steps we've taken with the acquisition of MIAT and putting those programs on the UTI campuses, as well as we anticipate closing the Concord deal very shortly. I think what's really exciting for us is that we now have the foundation to do this work even more expansively around the United States. These efforts are very local. People graduate from high school in Washington State and want to stay in Washington State. And so expansion into new markets where we can help solve the problem is something we take very seriously. Working on the entire spectrum of the skills-based area is really exciting. And really what we're focused on is how can we get more people trained and out into the workforce?
Yeah, I know that in New York, there was a lot of talk for a long period of time about kind of like extending high school a little bit. This idea that when individuals that perhaps, a four-year university isn't the right step for them, at least not right away, but they would want to extend in. Is that something that we're seeing an appetite for? And are they looking to groups like yours to really fill that gap? It seems like you guys have the expertise.
So one of the things we're really thrilled with that is evolving within both the government and then also within some of the school districts is a real focus that high school isn't the end of the line. Right. And that people really should be thinking about continuing their education beyond high school to fill some of these skills gaps areas, to go on to university, et cetera. All of that energy, whether it's New York or California or Florida, Texas, et cetera, all of that energy into high school isn't and shouldn't be the end of the line is really great for us. And the reason is that, as I said earlier, our high school student tends to be the student who didn't think they were going on to college. Their parents didn't go to college. They were thinking, okay, I'm done, and now I'm going to go and I'm going to work in this factory, or I'm going to drive Uber, or I'm going to do something along those lines. And so whether it's the Biden administration or whether it's one of the states, the focus that people should go on and train for something, even if it's not a four-year college, is energy that we think is well spent. And so we support those endeavors, no matter where they're coming from. Whether a student wants to go on to community college or wants to go to a technical and trade school, we think all of that energy is well spent.
Jerome, I mean, this is incredibly valuable, the work that you guys are doing. I mean, it's a big miss in the marketplace today that we don't have more activity focused on this. Especially, a lot of the things that you're highlighting are very interesting. Strangely enough, it is related to upskilling, right? Because you're talking about people that would have entered the workforce with essentially no skills, and you're upskilling them into roles which are relevant for the evolved economy, right? This economy that has sustainable energy at its center, machine learning at its center, heavy logistics driven by omni-channel commerce at its center, and you're really retooling for that. Jerome, it's been amazing talking to you. If someone wanted to learn more about Universal Technical Institute and what you guys are working on, where's the best place to find you?
Our website, www.uti.edu, is absolutely the best place to get information. And we're happy to connect with anybody who's looking for that information.
Excellent. Listen, Jerome, thank you so much for being on Uncaged. We've been speaking with Jerome Grant. He is the Chief Executive Officer of the Universal Technical Institute, and we've been talking to him about the incredible growth, about this middle skilled space, and really kind of what they're delivering in this space in terms of offering students entering careers in things like automotive, diesel, collision repair, motorcycle, marine technicians, sustainable energy, healthcare, you name it. We are seeing Universal Technical Institute fill a big gap that's needed in the marketplace. Jerome, thank you so much for being on Uncaged, and we look forward to talking to you again.
Thanks a lot, Ben. Take care.
Cheers.